Good evening, Winthrop votes, and welcome to a do we want to call it a special or
Special
emergency
Thursday
edition?
edition.
a, a bombshell edition, perhaps?
Possibly, it's however the people want to take it.
Yeah. So for the folks who are getting ready to join or are joining us, we are about to share with you something we learned relative to um, the event that the Winthrop Republican Town Committee put on that I think Paul Caruccio is actually correct to be upset, and that's just my opinion. But anyway, there was an event there. There was some. Well, we'll frame it up in a moment. I'm going to turn it over to Scott because Scott's done the homework on this one, and I want to let him bring it. Well, let him bring it forward because he's on a mojo mission.
Okay, so we last Monday night we brought up the fact that the candidates night. What was it? Last Wednesday? Last Thursday?
I think it was last Thursday.
Last Thursday. So Todd brought it to my attention, and we brought it up on Monday night that toward the end of the video. No, it was in the middle when Jim Lettieri, Phil got up and talked. Then Jim Lettieri got up and talked, and okay, so we're just gonna say something happened. Something happened to a chunk, like I don't know, 45 second chunk of what Jim was about to say. Now, we found out on Tuesday that the videographer, John
Vitagliano.
John Vitagliano. Now, I personally was opposed to that being shown. That video, that Candidates Night video was going to be shown on WCAT. I personally was opposed to that being shown because it was a political event that was not complete. There was a key part of Jim Lettieri's speech mysteriously disappeared. And then and I'm going to show the video.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
So, and I'll just to put us on the same page here. I was with you. I was in agreement with you, and I'll tell you when you're done. I'll tell you why I've changed.
Yeah. Well, the story continues. So I was opposed to it being played because it was an incomplete video, and a key part of Jim Lettieri's speech was mysteriously missing. The next day, the videographer, John Vitagliano, evidently said that he had a power loss right at that moment. He had a power loss. Okay, it was a very convenient time. First of all, if I'm going to be videotaping something that's going to be shown to the whole town, I would check my equipment. Make sure I have a good battery, right?
Yeah, and if I might add, it was a little Sony something like that. I saw the thing. There's no way you lose the plug and it automatically dies unless the thing's 20 years old and he never replaced the battery. Anyway.
Well, yeah, regardless of what happened. So it was noted that there was a power loss. Now I'm going to show you the video. I'm going to bring the video up for everybody to see. And then we're going to continue because at the end of this, there's pretty good bombshell coming. So here's the video. It's a 44-second clip of Phil's speech. So here we go. Get the volume right in this. I don't know what happened to Point Shirley. That is what they might as well be the runway. The airplanes down there are crazy. It's insane. So here we go. I'm going to play the video. Now, people that are watching, whether it's live or the after views, this is going to be up to you. This is you make the call. All right. When the show is said and done tonight. So here we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for the video set. My name is Jim Lettieri, and I'm running for council president. I've been a councilor for the past 16 years and take great pride in representing Winthrop and the accomplishments we have made throughout the years. I've been a member of the school building committee, which facilitated the building of our beautiful new middle high school. I'm the chair of the finance committee as well as the finance commission and co-chair of the Millerfield committee. I am obviously not running as the new guy on the block, but I am running for a different vision, a more inclusive type of leadership. Now I need to use the remainder of my
It never ceases to amaze me. Never ceases to amaze me every time I see it.
He was about to say, I'm going to use the remainder of my time to, Todd, do you have accessible what he was going to read? He was basically going to call out the text messages. He wanted everyone to see, because this was going to be shown on WCAT townwide. So he referred to it in his statement. These are the text messages, okay? It's between Phil and Faison, the town manager. Jim was about to talk about these text messages. These text messages basically say that Phil was the cause of the town manager leaving, which cost the taxpayers upwards of $130,000 for this resignation settlement. Now, in it, this was a text about the harbor master position. I'll start at the top where it says this is Phil. I mean, this is the town manager.
Faison, yep.
Faison in blue. He says he's retiring, then he will be hired as the harbor master. And I know some people have already seen this, but there's people that might be watching that haven't. So the town manager said he's retiring, and then he will be hired as the harbor master. I told you the issue that I had with the candidate that you supported. He's talking to Phil. Phil comes back and says, you could have made blank top and blank. It was redacted names because they're innocents in this.
Yeah, they don't need to be dragged
in
into
blank,
this.
admin or co or vice. They are the only two with ferry-sized captain's licenses and know everything about the wants. That's how he wrote it. About what's been going on. Blank hasn't been an assistant harbor master and is coming in fresh. You are burning bridges with our state polls, meaning politicians, who we need to go to for money. I hear you haven't even congratulated Jeff, meaning Jeff Turco. Now, in this, he says, you are burning bridges with our state politicians. Are you kidding me? This is over a harbor master position, Phil. What bridges are you burning? They're not going to give you money because you hired the wrong harbor master? So anyways, idiot. Now, Faison sends this text to Terry Delahanty, who at the time was just the chief of police. He wasn't acting town manager. Faison says, I'm sending this to you because Phil sent this to my work phone. I can't in good conscience continue to work here, meaning the town of Winthrop. This has to stay between us, but I will be giving my notice this coming week. I'm also sending you this because I want to express my actual fear that I may face physical harm if I were to share this with the media or detail why I do not feel ethical continuing to serve in this position. That's why the town manager left. It's cut and dry. There's no two ways about it. It's right there on text messages. Phil insisted during the debate that the reason the town manager left was because Jim Lettieri was badgering him over the budget.
If I could say, he stated this is from Jim's what he was going to read at the PSA.
So we're going
hall.
back to the video now.
Yeah, now this is what he was going to read in the video. Now I need to use the remainder of my 2 minutes to respond to a statement made by my opponent at last week's debate. He stated that it was my constant questioning, or as he put it, badgering of the former town manager in terms of decisions he was making which caused him to leave. The format of the debate did not afford me the time to fully respond. So I would ask you, if the town manager left because he couldn't handle my holding him accountable, I would simply ask why. would we offer him a settlement? The truth, as they say, is in the texts. The text that you just read, the text exchange between our council president and former town manager, along with subsequent text between former town manager and then police chief, so forth and so on.
So there you go. Jim was about to bring that up. Now,
Yep.
John Vitigliano is the videographer. Remember that name. John Vitigliano is the videographer who said the next day that he had a power loss right at that moment where Jim was about to expose Phil. And this would be viewed on WCAT in a loop, pretty much. So I and Todd find out about this, and I say WCAT should not have shown this. They shouldn't show the video. Todd, he's come around to another side, and I understand. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And this is where I think maybe I'll change Todd's mind. So, somebody, one of my snoops in Winthrop, sent me a pretty interesting piece of information in regards to John Vitigliano. Let's go back. I'm going to pop this up right here. This is from the Winthrop transcript, 2015, right? December 31st, 2015. Philip Boncory named Sun Transcript Man of the Year. Goes into this whole article, how great Phil was back then. Right? Anyways, that's neither here nor there, right?
Well, actually, I do just want to add a little bit of color to that. This guy has been, it does give him credit for being part of town and town government for years. He has volunteered, I will say. I will give him that credit. However, I don't know that the town is in great shape, and he's been part of it since I can remember. Just saying.
So this is the article, the actual article from 2015. Now, let's go to the next page. It goes on. Now you'll see something's highlighted down there, right? You probably can't read it on your iPhone. So you'll see where it's highlighted. I'm gonna start that paragraph. While his law practice has kept him busy, he has always found time to be active in local organizations. He was president of the Winthrop JC's Young Professionals and served as a JC state officer and senator. The JCs formed the Massachusetts Air Pollution and Noise Abatement Committee, MAPNAC. This is a quote from Phil Boncory. This is the next paragraph that's highlighted. Quote, "We formed MAPNAC in the basement apartment of my mother's house," recalls Boncory. "We brought in John Vitigliano as the director of the committee. That was before the Winthrop Airport Hazards Committee was formed." And if I heard correctly, John Vitigliano is on that committee, which has to be appointed. Those people have to be appointed by the town council president. So, going back to 2015, Phil brought on John Vitigliano as the director of the committee, the MAPNAC committee. You connect the dots. Now, I was in law enforcement for 32 years. It's not a long time, I know, not a long time.
Hey, old man, take a look at my life. Anyway.
Let me see. So, just saying, there's a lot of comments coming in, but I want to get this out. John Vitigliano is the videographer for the candidates' night. John Vitigliano says, "Oh, that was a power loss when Jim was talking." John Vitigliano is evidently friends with Phil. Phil thinks so highly of him that he made him the director of MapNac. So they go back to at least 2015.
I can't confirm yet,
No.
but I'm pretty sure it goes back further than that.
Okay, but even if we go back to 2015, even if he just met him the day before and said, you know what, you'd be a good director for MapNac.
You're right.
You know, just you kind of fill in the blanks. And these are facts. These are in black and white. These are in black and white.
That's right. That's right.
This is not us making this up. It's in the transcript. It's in the text messages. So
interesting side note. Some of these lives we've done have reached over 400 views, which is records for us at this point. Actually, there's one that's over 900, but not relevant to this topic.
No.
But there's over almost 500 views on 2 different podcasts or lives of this topic. Yeah. And we're still seeing people wanting to put signs up. I don't know. Are they not seeing this? Are they not getting it?
I don't know. Let's kind of stick to this. But I know what you're saying. So WCAT decides, as I agree, they should not play this. Now, this even confirms it even more in my eyes, that there's very strong evidence that this video might have been edited.
I agree with you that this is unfair, right? Because it is edited. I'm not going to say might.
It's beyond unfair, buddy.
That piece of it is unfair, but it's also unfair to the other 15 people who came out.
Well, you know what they call that in politics, my friend? You know what they call that?
That's how it goes?
No.
Those
people are called, listen to me. Those people are called collateral damage.
That's true.
Okay? It's unfortunate. It's terrible that they had to fall into this.
I still think it's okay with a disclaimer, but that's just one man's opinion.
So you start with the disclaimer. So who's to say I can edit any video I want? Just put a disclaimer up front.
That's
because it's already been, you already started the ball rolling. So any video I want to put up, and I sent to WCAT, I say, oh, by the way, there's a disclaimer because I had a power loss.
Could create a problem.
Could.
Yeah.
Now, if this was, like I said, a hockey game that they were videotaping and we missed like the first 10 minutes of the third period, okay, I could take that. But this is a key part of the guy that's running for arguably the number one spot in Winthrop.
I mean, it is, and the way the charter is written, it gives him a fair amount of power.
So the fact that Phil and John Vitigliano, the videographer who said his camera had a power loss at that moment, are connected. They're maybe friends. They go back a while. They go back a long time. You make the call, voters. You make the call. I'm just giving you the facts. If you want to be an amateur detective, how would you think this played out? So, and again, unfortunately, the other candidates are collateral damage in this. But that, again, is unfortunate. But you can't allow a political video that there's a lot riding on this to be shown town-wide when there's a chunk missing from it. You just can't do that. You're setting it up for disaster in the future. You're giving carte blanche to anybody that wants to put a political video out and then chop something up and say, disclaimer. Disclaimer. Now, I know Paul Caruccio is extremely upset about this.
Yeah, he's on fire.
As he should be, but it's the videographer that caused this. His power loss caused this. You get what you pay for.
What if you edit out all of the two presidents' speaking parts and just leave it for the rest of the people?
It's supposed to be a complete show.
That is true.
You can't leave out candidates now. Now you're leaving out candidates.
Well,
You
There's
know,
a lot of what happened there should be. I mean, it's a stain. Candidly, what's happening? What? In my opinion, what Phil is doing here is a stain on Winthrop politics.
now we
Stain.
don't know if Phil is involved in this, but Phil
Ah,
has
you're right.
a
We don't know.
no. But you can make assumptions
Yeah,
and presumptions
it's true.
on how this
You can
played
do that.
out.
You can make the assumptions.
That's
Yep.
why I'm saying it's up to the voters. And if you think this video is important, if you think this live stream, share this so other people in Winthrop can get a shot at what's been going on and what happened. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. The video, the missing section. It's like the Magruder tapes, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's Watergate. Like when
What?
Nixon there was a big 45 minutes missing from his tapes, his
What's
private
next?
tapes.
The magic bullets coming in the grassy knoll.
Yeah, it's the Watergate tapes. There was a
Yeah.
big chunk missing, and that was never forgotten.
That's right.
So you can't edit anything that has to do with politics, people voting, nothing. You set a precedent if you chop out this candidate, chop out that candidate, put a disclaimer, fill in the blank. It's just my opinion. I'm only one man. I could be wrong.
No.
But
King of Facebook?
this is very important. This is very important to the election in Winthrop.
Well, this is a very important election in Winthrop, and it's not getting the same interest as former elections. It's not as heated. It's not as there's not as much angst about the current town council president, which is it's really, given what Winthrop voters have gotten their proverbial panties in a bunch about with past candidates who got things done.
That's very toxic.
Yeah, my
masculinity
toxic
talk.
masculinity is
Yeah.
coming out. Sorry, I don't want to trigger you. But no, and I mean, considering what people got upset about in the past from council presidents who got things done of meaning, considering what they've gotten upset about, to be ignoring what is happening right before their eyes, that is, there are direct costs associated with this. I mean, not this particular event, but if you look at what this current council president has done in totality, he has been a complete net negative, and from a financial perspective and from a progress perspective. And I'll give him COVID. I didn't expect miracles, but I don't expect you to run a town manager out of town when you had a chance. Let me remind the audience and inform those who have never heard about this before. The former town manager should have never got an extension or never been hired. I think Vecchia hired him. He should have never been hired. And Phil was making backdoor deals, if you will, or telling people off the record, if you will, that he was going to get rid of him because the Faison was no good. That was what was being said. And then when he got in and he and I would talk about it, he'd say, what do you want me to do with it's Black Lives Matter, all the racial tension, we'll be a racist town. Okay, he had a chance to not extend him, put the job out to bid, let him reapply. At least give us some other candidates to look at. And we could have not hired him and been done legally with no problems. Instead, he fought to keep him, and then he drove him out by the evidence that we showed this evening, proving what he did. It's insanity to me, or complete and utter stupidity. It can't be anything else.
Well, he's going to get votes, but this, I have to give WCAT a lot of credit for having integrity enough to stand up and say this is not a complete video. You can knock them all you want. They didn't bend the knee to anybody and say, "Oh, okay, we're gonna show it, but we'll do a disclaimer or we'll do whatever." No, they have a lot of integrity. They evidently felt there's something wrong here, and I think there is. I think there's a lot wrong.
There's something
There's a
rotten in
lot wrong.
Denmark. And I don't why go to lengths like this for town council presidents?
Look at the guy hired a firm to run his campaign because he can't do it on his own. You know, he hired a firm. He's got people making phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this guy, he's grabbing at straws, I'm telling you. But I want to know why the transcript doesn't get into this story. Why won't the transcript? Will they touch this story? Will one of their investigative reporters show up and want to know, hey, can you tell me what you got? Maybe we can run something in the transcript.
Apparently facts don't print, and news doesn't print on kindling.
No, because they're friends. Quigley's friends with Phil. That's all there is to it. I read last week's transcript, and all you saw in there was, in letters to the editor, was, oh, Phil's the greatest thing. I guarantee you, there was the other letters to the editor that were anti-Phil that will not be put in there. So that's a rag. Like I said, that's the penny saver. That piece of garbage newspaper.
Getting back to CAT and the debate and just this whole election cycle, I was speaking with Mike Cabral, I think it was yesterday, and there is an appetite for a different debate style. Because you mentioned Quigley, you mentioned, you got Quigley and you got Ron Vecchia that were two of the panelists. The third panelist was part of the Chamber of Commerce. Forgive me, I keep forgetting the names, but it doesn't matter. They asked the same softball questions year in and year out. I'll say it again. They had zero interest in asking the current town council president why the town manager left, why you stroked a check for whatever it was, whatever the exact figure was that you were stroked it for a person who told you they were leaving. Why?
Right.
Not a single question about that. Why? What was the evidence? Why, by the way, why has another question that I would have asked if I was on that panel? Why is it that you voted to approve executive session meeting minutes several meetings ago that nobody on that council read because the meeting minutes never made it to you in your packets? Yet you just saw it on the agenda and you were like, tick, vote. And we still don't have access to those minutes. That executive session contains the information related to, we think it contains the information related to our town attorneys telling us why we should settle. What evidence outside of these texts that I found that I've got my hands on, is there anything else in there? That is the meeting, if any, that we'll find that out. And I still can't get them because they haven't voted to approve the minutes.
All right. So one of the viewers messaged in. Yeah. It's a long one, so let me read it.
Shannon. Hi, Shannon.
You guys take heat for being negative, Todd. We haven't always agreed. But thank you for bringing to light incredibly important information about the integrity and, frankly, the capabilities or lack thereof our current town council president. This information, let me see. So it says...
Next one.
Yeah, it won't continue. So It says, I'll finish it. This information proves he is a liability to this town, and we cannot afford that. I don't know how people of Winthrop can continue to support him, write public endorsements, and actually be part of protecting him. It's been a pretty sad and eye-opening year in Winthrop. So
I can explain that. I just had a conversation this afternoon. I was watching my son's practice, and a good person in the community told me he was staying out of the politics, but out of loyalty was going to put a sign up. He put a sign up today, and he knows at least some of what's going on, but he didn't know everything. And so, and granted, the guy's got a lot on his plate, but and I think that's what happens, right? People don't have the time, and that's why we do this Winthrop Votes thing, to try to give you ample opportunity to find the information easily. So share it with your friends. They can sort through the videos and they can find information. But anyway, I don't think enough people really pay attention. And again, that's why we're here. That's what we're doing.
Right. So once again, we're coming up on a half hour. So once again, I just wanted to bring it full circle that the video I'm going to show the video again. I just want people to remember this. Remember what you're seeing. I want you to make your own conclusions of what's going on, what happened, and you make the call, as they say. Me, 32 years in law enforcement, my brain is wired a specific way. I see things for what they are, and I see through a lot of things. To me, there's something ain't right. Something ain't right. But that's just me. Like I said, I'm one man. I could be wrong. So let me show you the video one more time for the people that might have just tuned in and missed the beginning of the show. Jim Lettieri at the candidates night last Wednesday, right?
It was last Wednesday, yeah.
Last Wednesday. So you tell me what you think happened here. The videographer, John Vitigliano, who knows Phil, who's known Phil since 2015, who Phil appointed as director of his MAPNAC committee in 2015, who Phil appointed to he nominated for the Airport Hazard Committee in Winthrop, was the videographer here. So here's the video.
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for being said. My name is Jim Lettieri, and I'm running for council president.
Now note the timing of when this gets edited. I mean,
16 years
power.
I take great pride in representing Winthrop and the accomplishments we have made throughout the years. I've been a member of the school building committee, which facilitated the building of our beautiful new middle high school. I'm the chair of the finance committee as well as the finance commission and co-chair of the Millerfield committee. I am obviously not running as the new guy on the block, but I am running for a different vision, a more inclusive type of leadership. Now I need to use the remainder of my
Come on.
I want to use the remainder of my time. Boom.
See ya.
Mysteriously, there was a power loss at that point. John Vitigliano, videographer, evidently, I'm making an assumption, but it's a friend of Phil Boncori's, who's appointed him as director of the MAPNAC back in 2015, has nominated him to be on the Airport Hazard Committee. So there you have it. He says there was a power loss. I think otherwise, but that's just, again, my opinion.
And unless he was, Scott, unless he was staring at the camera the whole time, he never would have caught the power loss and and fixed it so quickly.
So,
I mean, come on.
So a WCAT won't, and I think shouldn't air that just because it's suspect. Just the fact that it's suspect, it shouldn't get in. Unfortunately, Paul Cruccio, who put a lot of time into this, he put a lot of effort. He reached out. He got Cheryl Fandaka to come in, and got everybody there. He got the whole. I really do feel bad that this happened. I feel bad for the candidates that get caught up in this, that are now collateral damage because of this. But if you're a candidate and you missed out on this, you make the call too. You make the call. What cost you your time on WCAT? What cost you? What could possibly cost you the election? Right? It all circles back to Phil. It all circles back to Phil, in my ex-law enforcement opinion.
He's a defense attorney.
He would be my key suspect.
He's a plausible deniability. He knows
and that's fine.
the law.
And that's fine. That's why I'm saying this is up to the voters. We're not, we're saying this is what happened. These are the facts. My opinion is my opinion only. I'm not saying either way, but I do have a feeling of what happened. I can't prove anything. But, you have that. So with all that, if this video, you think it's important, share it. Share it and share it. Let the other people in Winthrop who might not know the show exists or might not know what happened, let them make the call too, unless they're not interested, which is pretty stupid. If you're not interested in your local government, then you have no reason to complain when your town goes to hell or when something goes wrong and you all of a sudden want to complain. My trash, fee is up. I just got it. I have 2 barrels.
No.
And they're
Wendy
charging
said
me for
she's
3.
not going
And
to allow that.
I don't know what's going on, or my water bill is crazy. Well, you know what? Did you vote? Did you get involved? No.
No.
Sorry.
Did you pay attention to who you voted for? Let's start there. Right?
Yeah.
Did you just say, "Oh, he's my friend"? Click.
So there you go. Rewatch it if you want. But that's why we wanted to come on tonight, just to bring you this, from the transcript from 2015, where Phil mentions John Vitigliano's name, made him director of the MapNac, and he thought very highly of it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And if
Wendy-
anybody knows, go ahead. Yeah,
Wendy
leave
Millar,
Wendy's-
watch it, Scott. Yeah, I know. I'm walking to raise his head. So what?
If anybody knows Stephen Quigley or can get him to talk to us, I'd love to have him come on here and explain why. I mean, we've been around for what, 3 months maybe? And we've reported far
Not
more
even.
news than the transcript has since I've been aware of that paper.
If the transcript had any integrity, they would reach out to one of us and say, hey, listen, we're interested in your story. We're interested in what's going on. What do you got for us? Maybe we can run with it. Wrong answer.
No.
They're not interested. They're not interested.
News.
But Quigley will
It's
sit
news.
on these questions,
panels,
the debate committee, whatever.
And he could throw his softball,
That.
Oh, what have you done since you've been town council president? That's nice.
All right. So that's it. That's it. That's the show. That's the small bombshell. There is a connection between the videographer and Phil Boncory and the power loss, which is involved, and which probably hurt a lot of candidates who could have got their face out there. Once again, I personally give WCAT a lot of credit for having integrity enough to say something wasn't right with this, and they're not going to show it in any way, shape, or form. They're not, because then they'll be editing it, Todd. If they take that part out, they just edited a video.
There's a lot for me to There's a lot for me to process. There's just so many different.
And again, I feel bad for the candidates. I feel bad for Paul Caruccio.
Facts.
But it is what it is.
Sorry,
they can, huh?
No swearing. I swore. Sorry.
Oh, if they got beef, they take it up with the with the videographer.
Yeah.
Not WCAT.
Yeah.
No matter how you slant this, no matter how you try to spin it, something wasn't right there. It was an incomplete political video.
Yep.
So, and it's easy, like I said, to say, oh, it was a power loss. Right at that particular moment when
I'm not buying that nonsense.
Jim was about to expose Vitigliano's friend, Phil Boncory. I don't know. Yeah. So there you go. And let's end it with that. So Monday night we have who coming on?
Suzanne Leonard, candidate for school committee. Should be a good one.
Yeah. And if you want to see the video as a whole, Todd posted it on the Winthrop Votes Facebook group. He posted it. So if you want to watch the whole video, I thought the school committee questions were pretty interesting. And we will be talking about that on Monday night. Mm-hmm. So with that, all right, buddy, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Listen, remember, all politics starts at the local level. Make sure you get out and vote. It's coming. I mean, November 2nd. So pay attention. Pay attention. And yes, Wendy, he is invited. Jim, if you're watching, you're invited to come and read your statements. You can come back on. The door has been open for you. Have a great night, everybody. Be sure to tune in Monday night. Tell your friends, tell your family. Share.
Share this video.
We're almost at 300. We're growing. Let's keep growing. Let's get Winthrop back on track. Peace out.
All right, Todd, stay on. Good night, everybody.